13. Negotiations. "You have to come get me," I begged Nick. The plan was for him to get back on the bus and take me to his home in Wisconsin to live with him and his mom and stepdad. Nick had a private room with a bathroom all his own upstairs, so we'd be comfortable enough and have privacy. Nick said his mother welcomed me, but wouldn't give him the money to come back to Missouri.
So what did she do? She sent him the money. Also, because we're continuing with the book, what's so crazy about this, and I've always said that I don't think she really intended to go with Nick. I think she was left no option. Because she was texting somebody in the hospital that day before, on the 8th. We do know that whether she began the act before Nick got there at midnight, because they always say the 9th, right? She does. She's like, oh, it's because, it was the 9th and then it turned midnight and it just, we didn't think of the 10th, but it's always been the 9th, right? The day before, she's at the hospital. She has her little bunny and she's texting her mama. Wait till I show you the picture with Aurora. Either she is trolling. I mean, it's like one day after the other, she does something to troll us. I've been going over the trolling. But either that is just a bunny to troll us, or that is the white bunny and she has dyed it because, she's an artist. But I don't believe she ever intended to go with Nick at the hospital. I think she was texting Dan. That's who I think she was talking to. Because she definitely didn't text Nick, and we don't have Dan's convo. And you can see her hide the phone. This girl is sitting there plotting her mother's red rum because she needed to have her feeding tube replaced because it got dislodged. Remember how she looked up that how to replace your own feeding tube, etc. I'm just gonna say etc. But so she needed that replaced, and she was, like hyper fixated on it too. Well, it was dislodged. I would be too. And then she even told Nick she could change it herself. I don't think she could. She was too lazy. That's no. No way. But we know Dee Dee was looking at shelters. We know. You know what? Let me find that video first because I've been meaning to look for it, and I'm gonna do it tonight. Where she said she spoke to Dee Dee about them living together. And Dee Dee said she isn't helping them. We all know Dee Dee knew about Nick, though. I showed you the New York Post. It's in the paper. We all know it happened. She can lie. But facts are facts. I'm going to get it. Okay, so I found it finally. And let me give you a short rundown. Dee Dee had a rule that she couldn't date till she was 21. Why did she have this rule? Because she's already 21. She's lying. I do think Dee Dee had a rule. I think Dee Dee had a rule that you will not date anybody you meet online because you evidently cannot handle relationships. I think she knew Gypsy was hiding things. She already had got caught with Richard Keene in a hotel, who had SA charges, and guess who her lawyer was? Mike Stanfield. She told all these guys the same story, even though she lied about being in the wheelchair to her mother and didn't want to tell her and lose her love and attention. She wasn't going to tell them she did that. She's going to blame her mom, like she does everybody for everything in her life. Gypsy blames everybody for everything that happens to her. Do you really think she can be like, yeah? Now, she told Nick. Why didn't she tell Dan and the rest of them that she lied to her mom about being in a wheelchair? Nick, it was just, I'm not allowed to date. She wasn't allowed to date because of what she did with Dan and Richard and some others. She went cuckoo and then came home and shot her mother with the pew pew. That's what happened. But okay. So now it's been a little while since Dan, and she's thinking her mother will support a relationship and support them and blah, blah, blah.
No, I'm gonna listen to her, her rule, and and things got better after I said that, and I was just trying to let you know that she, as much as I wanted her to maybe help us out with things like a living situation in the future, I don't think she will. And that was kind of depressing for me, because realizing that we have to do all this on our own, and you and I both don't make much money, and like the money that I'm getting right now for us for your trip, that is based on allowance. That's based on, checking under the couch for change.
So, bottom line, Dee Dee said, no, I'm not going to take care of you. You need to find somebody responsible enough to take care of you. If you want to date, play house, and live together, he needs to take care of you. I agree with her. But, Gypsy, she just steals all the money from mommy and buys all the gifts and whatever they want, whether it just be, Nicholas getting... She bought her own wedding ring, guys. She bought her own engagement ring and mailed it to Nick. She paid $99. She used a $100 bill. Seen the ring. It obviously is not a real diamond, but it's huge. And I don't know if she ever sent it, but she said she was going to mail it to him so that when he wanted to propose, whenever he came, he could. No pressure, though. This chick. So, okay. Now we know Dee Dee is not going to help her with their dating. And again, I showed you guys the New York Post. Dee Dee was bragging about Gypsy dating Nicholas. She was telling all the neighbors and Aaliyah. She'd even messaged Aaliyah, had talked to her about, oh, look at us girlies. How'd she say it? Having the best boyfriends, blah, blah, blah. But yet she blamed everything on Aaliyah, too. She blamed what she sent to her dad on Aaliyah. Everything that she got caught doing, Aaliyah told me to do it. She was really not okay. Okay? No.
We felt like our relationship was on the brink of collapse. We believed we tried everything to be together, and now it was a matter of taking extreme measures. We worried the shed incident would lead to something worse for me. We need to think of a new option, Nick said. I agreed. And then I made the suggestion, to which Nick said, Victor can do it, but you need to be the one to beg him. So I sent a message to Victor on Facebook.
That's not quite what you said before, Gypsy, but I'm not even going to argue with this crap. First of all, your relationship wasn't on the brink of collapsing. We've read the messages. I'll be honest, plan A, B, and C, those were... C was supposedly taking Dee Dee out. No. That was always her plan. A, B, and C, that's just what she told Nick. If it was as you say, I don't know, on the brink of collapse. Why do you think that is? You weren't obviously mature enough to handle a relationship. You couldn't be loyal. Your mom knew that. Your mom knew what you were capable of. You were the town hoe. You were at one point the little local celebrity in the wheelchair, and you knew you were done with that phase. You couldn't grift off of people anymore. You set up 1 year to the date a GoFundMe for the Olay Foundation in June of 2015. Right here in your book, knowing a year before, it was almost 2 years before, you had already started planning the unaliving of your mom. That GoFundMe was solely for you and Nick. Because what did she just say? She wasn't going to help you, and you guys didn't have much money. You guys, I have to replay this for you because, you know, money doesn't grow on trees. Technically, but this is what Gypsy said. I'm just gonna.
We could at least have us a nest egg of something we can fall back on. Like, we need a car, we need a house, we need money, and money doesn't grow on trees. Technically, maybe it does because it's cotton, but anyway.
I'm sorry. It's just so funny that most people say money doesn't grow on trees. She's so uneducated that she knows money is made from cotton and linen. But we're supposed to believe she doesn't know anything. She's got the mind of a 13-year-old, and she never went to school. At this point, her lies are laughable. They are just laughable. How? The delusion? I just cannot. She is technical about it. Money doesn't grow on... Well, technically, it's made of cotton. She didn't even say trees. She didn't even... I just think that's funny because most people would say money doesn't grow on trees. She just stops herself. No, technically, because it is cotton. Cotton doesn't grow on trees, Gypsy. I don't know if that's what she thinks. I don't know why I found that so funny, besides just Anywho, anywho. Okay, let's listen to what she tells Nick he needs to do, and then we're going to get into after.
Victor, will you please do the deed? Yes, my submissive. I will do the deed for you. But it will be done my way, and how I want. My one condition to do the deed, because you are too weak to do this yourself. I want...
Okay, this is where he says he wants to RDD. I have to cut this out because it's bad. And the F word and the R word is in a lot. So no. Yeah.
You will go to the bathroom. I will scratch on the door. The scratch is the code for it's over.
That's not what happened, and this conversation took place at the hotel and her at the house waiting on him. We saw all the conversation. This was not planned like this the very first time she asked him. No. She asked him if he would protect her. And he said yes, even from her mother. And he said yes. And he kept telling her they needed to run away. I've yet to see this in any of the evidence. But we're still waiting on the scripting. Like, you know, he scripted her to say all this. Just like I showed you in the last video. Oh, yeah, I don't really care what she said because he scripted her what to say and forced her to say it. Again, how did he force her? Again, how did he force her? He lived states away. He couldn't even get to her. She had to mail him money. She mailed him like $800 or $1,000 and still stole $5,000 and left $5,000 at the house. Oh my gosh. No. But let's listen to some more. This is not what happened, but okay, this is the oh my god.
You will be clean and shaved and naked. And then
That's not what happened either. She wanted to be shaved. She wanted to be all, you know, trimmed, prim and proper down there. She also wanted to start with the back door. It's all in the evidence. That's not how it went. That's not how it was said. And it was mentioned, but he even told, in the interrogation, he even said she wanted to shave. He didn't tell her to do that. She wanted it. She would ask him what he liked, like the lingerie and what to wear and the color of nails. And then he'd tell her, and then it became, well, he demanded me to. That's not how it works. No, it's just dumb. Dumb. This is one thing that we don't see in the evidence, them ever discussing how they were going to do it, what weapon, details throughout this time, right? Not even that night, right? It was planned because she already got the knife. She stole it. Actually, in the evidence, she said she stole it from Walmart. But in the evidence, it said she ordered it online. Which is it, Gypsy? Are they lying in the evidence about that? Because they contacted Walmart and said it was an online order. Just, I need to know. I need to know. I don't know. What do you guys think? She loves to brag about stealing. She did steal a lot. She did. I don't know what her purpose of lying about that was. I don't know. But I just read it in the evidence. The detective spoke to Walmart, contacted them, said it was not bought in store, that it was an online purchase. I don't know how they knew that for sure. I have no idea. Maybe the worker just assumed? No, I don't think so. Because they determined it was for sure an online purchase. So I don't know. It's odd. But okay. Maybe she did steal it. Was there 2 knives? No, I want to know. Oh, I need to clarify. There is only 1 glove in the evidence. I thought there were 2 bundled up together. That in the trash can, there was 1 left. Why would you do that, Gypsy? Why would you leave a glove? I got skin. I hate, my lips are so dry. Why would you leave a glove in the trash can for them to find and then mail 1 to his home? This chick was setting him up. I don't care. She planned on coming back there. I'm going to tell you why in just a minute. I do want to, okay. Okay, the reason why I mentioned why don't we hear this, she wasn't dumb enough to put it down on a text. She talked on video on the phone. That's the only way she did it. Like on live Skype and on the phone. That's not nowhere in evidence. Or that computer that got trashed, it's gone. I don't know. But Nick would still have that, right? I don't know. They deleted and made so many accounts that we don't know everything, you know? But it definitely wasn't found in evidence so far. I've not came across it. But she did suggest Roundup. She says, we didn't see that nowhere in the evidence, but of course, Christy tried to say that Dee Dee took her mother out with Roundup. and Laura was poisoning them. Dee Dee's mom passed from diabetes complications. Laura was so sick, 9 months, just couldn't get out of bed, but never once went to the ER. Never got tested, never said, hey, I think that my daughter-in-law, well, no, stepdaughter, is trying to poison me because I think she poisoned her mom. People truly believe that Dee Dee hurt her mother because Christy, I've showed the clip before, planted that in the HBO documentary Mommy, Dad, and Dearest. In the emails I've showed you where Gypsy tells Melissa Moore, somewhere in the book, maybe we can slip in that my grandmother had Munchausen also, MVP. So now there's 2 people that could have MVP. And I still love that Morgan Elena found it was Gypsy posting everything on Facebook. All the statuses on DGip's account where they both shared, and then her Emma Rose account. That was all Gypsy. Back to back posting, would from one account to the next, back to back, post the same updates and status. Yeah. I knew it was Gypsy though. I did. But yeah, that's what I wanted to point out with. We don't see that in the evidence because she's not that dumb, right? I wouldn't think. I really wished when they did the plea deal, because a lot of times they will, whether it's, okay, we'll give you the plea deal, you just need to tell us where the body is, or, give the family closure and why you did it, how you did it, blah, blah, blah. That is really what I wish they would have made her do, but they didn't. It was literally a generic plea deal, and that was the end of it. And again, the Munchausen by proxy, he took her case the day she was arrested, June 15th. Mike Stanfield did. 2 days later, he had it posted on social media and had his assistant on social media testing the Munchausen by proxy theory, and it went nationwide. Why? Because he already had a guy that Gypsy dated and had lied to and said, well, my mom made me stay in the wheelchair, when that's not what happened. We've heard it come out of her own mouth. Dee Dee did not. No. Dee Dee never made her ill. No, that is not what happened. We know that now. We've proved it. We've debunked it. Gypsy had control of her own health and medical appointments and decisions from the time she turned 18. Dee Dee had no power of attorney. That was all. And she actually signed for everything. So you're going to tell me that Dee Dee didn't force her to still do these appointments? No. In 2011, when she was diagnosed and they finally had a diagnosis, her appointments just stopped. Either they just didn't go or she canceled anything upcoming, but was still going to the Olay Foundation for her health. We all seen the Cape Cod video, right? It's crazy because her and Nick are talking at this time. Dan had already came and gone, and Gypsy had already pew, 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 and chased her into the bathroom with the dagger, held her in there hostage. You don't think Dee Dee was scared? She was terrified of Gypsy. That's why she looked up the shelter. She was going to get Gypsy help. I think Dee Dee knew she was going to eventually take her out. She was freaking out on Dee Dee all the time. I showed you in the last video. Her mom could only give her so many chances. and that her mom wanted to get rid of her. Not get rid of her, but her mom wanted to leave her. She was done with her. She says that. This is a 24-year-old woman at the time. And then you have Gypsy in the phone calls from jail admitting she did everything. How do you still love me after what you just found out, Christy? Baby, because it's unconditional love. We love you no matter what. Take out Rod, see how you feel then, Christy. So let's listen to, she says, the night of the crime. Okay, let's listen. Let's listen.
The night my mother was going to die, I remember slowing the evening down. I think people would describe it as being in the moment. I took in my mother in a way I never had. I smelled that pillow, imprinting her scent in my memory, like a hunting dog. I cried in the pillow as I spoke to it, saying, "I'm sorry, but this is something I have to do." I wiped my tears, got back in my wheelchair, and found her in the kitchen as she prepared my dinner.
Do you hear what I'm saying? I have been saying, first of all, the pillow that she is talking about is that pillow that is, it is lumped right at the side of all of the tied together sheets that were used as restraints. That's what that is. I could never figure it out. What is that? What is that? That's the pillow. She explains it as it was a baby pillow that she kept with her whole life, and said that it had spit up, tears, sweat, and it was some kind of like symbol of life for Dee Dee, and it was filled with sweat, tears, spit up, blah, blah, but soon blood. And she smelled that pillow and cried. Why was that pillow attached or underneath all the restraints? Because there was at least 10 sheets cut up and tied together, right? I always wondered what that was. I was like, is that her nightgown? I don't get what that is. What is that? Was that baby pillow put up underneath her neck when it was cut? I have always said it started in the kitchen. Gypsy Rose, you will never convince me. I said, it looks like somebody is starting dinner. She didn't hop back in her wheelchair and go in there to her mom. Her mom knew she could walk by now. This wasn't a shock to Dee Dee. Dee Dee knew she could walk now. Dee Dee knew, remember, she said in 2011, her mom knew she could walk. She had to tell her. So why would you hop in your I'm so over it. But listen, and I've never listened to this since it first came out, so I hadn't went over the evidence photos yet. No.
I wheeled myself up to the back of her and hugged her waist. When she turned, she could see my eyes were a little wet. "I love you," I said. "Baby," she answered. "I love you too, but I'm not dead yet." Was she really reading my mind? I told Nick I'd leave surgical gloves outside for him, and to text me when he was ready to come inside. I'd hand the knife to him then.
That's when she made peace with her mom, and she texted Nick, "I made peace with my mama." Yeah, you did. And then you attacked her. That's not what happened. After you hugged her, said you loved her, I don't believe she looked at her and said, "Baby, I'm not dead yet." Why would she say that? This girl lives in Delulu land. Dee Dee didn't know what was coming. No, Dee Dee had no idea. She was starting dinner, and Gypsy attacked her. I don't care. Nobody's ever going to change my mind on this. I promise you. No. They're not. I don't know why Gypsy only mailed one glove, unless when Nick was sitting in the car, maybe she used that glove to clean up, or I don't know. That was when she decided to decapitate her. I don't know. She was in that room with Nick, whether Dee Dee was almost gone or not. I don't know. Maybe he thought he was. I don't know. But I just know the blood splatter in the kitchen doesn't add up. His little cut on his finger. And I hope I can find the photo of his finger. But I'm having issues just finding photos of the knife. So. And I looked at it on the drive. So I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know why I can't. But anywho. There is splatter all up on the counters, all up on the cabinets, and then it goes down the hallway onto the wall by the spare bedroom, by the bathroom. Yeah. And I'm almost positive Gypsy's room, yes, is right past the bathroom. And then on the right, it was the utility closet, laundry room, and then Dee Dee's room. And Dee Dee's room didn't even have a door. There's no splatter. I've showed it over and over and over. Not even on the big white sheet right beside her bed. Nothing on the headboard. Nothing on the Barney doll. Which there was blood on the doll, but it was on the feet. There was no splatter, though. It was from being put under her head. And it got on the doll that way, but there's no splatter on it. And then you have all these towels and blankets in the washing machine that were washed. You can tell they were. And then a ton of towels and blankets in the dryer. It started in the kitchen. You'll never convince me. And I hope I seen Trixie Lane has filed for the FOIA for the DNA. I want to know whose DNA is on that shirt. I want to know. I never heard this. Like, I heard this, right? But I hadn't seen the evidence. So, going back over this and getting that, it's a whole different. It puts a lot into perspective. Okay, this is the last we're going to get into this because shout out to Miss 1980 Millennial. She's going over the book too, and I didn't even know. I just saw a video today. But she's reading. I've been going over the audio, so I think this is the third or fourth video with the audio, but I'm not doing every single chapter. There's no reason to. Sorry. Well, we kind of have. We spoke a little on each chapter we have. I'm just not going into detail about each thing she says because we'd be here, like I said, it'd be 1,000 videos of lies. Sorry, I bit my tongue earlier and it's hurting. But so if it sounds a little weird, that's why. And she made some great points that I never even caught about this chapter right here. And I don't know if this is the only chapter she's spoken or she's making other videos. I don't know. I missed it if you have Millennial. So I will give my opinion because I agree with her.
The Hideout from Hell. Nick had booked a room at the Days Inn in Springfield. It was dawn by the time we checked in. The plan was to take a bus to Wisconsin later that day, except there weren't 2 bus tickets available until days later, on June 12th. So we holed up in the hotel, ordering pizza every day, while I ate painkillers in between meals. I was high as a kite and didn't think about what would happen when I ran out of the oxy. It recently crossed my mind that Nick and me getting caught may have prevented me from going to dangerous lengths in order to keep getting my fix. Would I have wound up with a laced street-grade pill or upped my game with a more intense drug of choice? My drug use could have led to my own death. During the trial, a damning video of Nick that I recorded on my phone was shown. I giggled incessantly while saying, "He's eating a brownie. Later, he'll be eating me." Watching the entire courtroom see that video at Nick's trial was more humiliating than I could describe. But I listened to that recording now, and it's so obvious I'm in la la land. In fact, I was high all the way through my initial interrogation in Wisconsin.
She was high, even though we have proof in 2 separate interviews she was not high, she said in one, but in Mommy, Dad, and Dearest she was. But the most important damning evidence, you had 0 drugs in your system, Gypsy. 0. You didn't count on evidence being shown. You had 0 drugs in your system. 0. Explain that again. You are so full of it.
The morning we were to finally depart from the bus depot, Nick and I decided to discard the murder weapon. At first, he suggested that I put it in my backpack and take it on the bus ride back to Wisconsin. I had never been on a bus and was afraid I'd have to pass through metal detectors, so I said, "Let's mail it." I didn't think it would be different than when people purchase kitchen knives on the internet and have them shipped. No big deal. So we put the knife in a manila envelope and mailed it to Nick's parents' house. I even put my return address on it.
No. What happened was Dan didn't meet her. Dan did not meet her, and she had to go back with Nick. So she mailed it to him because you want to know why? She was planning her kidnapping. Yeah. She was planning a fake kidnapping.
Reality was not a place I resided in. The knife made it safe and sound to its destination and was eventually recovered by detectives. It was used as evidence against us both after it was found hidden in Nick's closet.
That 1980 brought up and reminded me she put there. She put the knife in the closet and makes it seem like he hid it there. Jesus, I swear.
After we dropped off our mail, we ate at the Waffle House. I wasn't used to eating or drinking, and the drugs made me nauseous, so the short stack and chocolate milk I ordered made me sick to my stomach. One of the legitimate medical conditions I have is lactose intolerance, so I was double.
Okay, this is another thing Millennial brought up. She keeps saying, this is one of the legitimate illnesses I had. Okay, lactose intolerance. You know how you know what? Let me Google this really fast. Hold on. Hold please. Hold please. Okay, I just had to look up some things because she speaks about how she ate ice cream, how she ate different foods, but remember all the cases of Ensure that she never touched? And I looked up the color and of the can she had, it looks like vanilla flavor. That's what it looks like. It is not lactose free. There is lactose free Ensure products. There is still small amounts of milk in Ensure. If she didn't eat and that's all she drank, how was she drinking that? I remember the cans. I could be wrong, so I'm just going to squash that. But she also, in the evidence photos, there was milk in the fridge and cereal everywhere. And she ate mac and cheese, which is not lactose free. She even made it at Nick's house with the cheese and the milk and the water, poured it all in together before it even... She added water, noodles, milk, and the packet of cheese, and then turned the stove on. She said that's how her mama made it. I doubt that. You never cooked a day in your life. This girl ate. She was at several events. She was even at a pub. They ate there. It shows her eating at birthday parties, certain gatherings. She just lied. But like Millennial said, the lactose free, she told Ryan she couldn't work because of her scoliosis. That was a legit illness. And of course her eyes, if, she wouldn't have had the surgery, she could have went blind. Okay. And then her not being able to Well, she had the microdeletion 1Q21.1, microcephaly. Those are legitimate. And these all correlate with the 1Q21.1 also. And what was the other one? Oh gosh. I can't remember. It was in the emails too, but there was another one. You keep saying a legitimate. How many is that? Like Millennial said, that adds up. I don't have that many things wrong with me. So again, save me with that, the miss. Legitimate reason. Oh, and they ate pizza at the hotel 2 nights in a row. So make that make sense. What? Make that make sense. And I skipped over the actual incident with Dee Dee because I am not going to let her sit and revel in her crime like she does. And I am not going to let Dee Dee be remembered that way. She already has destroyed her name. No. That's why I skipped to this. So I forgot to mention that, so I'm adding it now.
To Big Bend. In my delusional mind, I was preparing to meet the love of my life's family. I wanted to make a good impression on his mother. I felt bad that we had to lie to her, telling her that the reason I was coming to live with them and why it was so urgent that Nick come to get me was because my mother had kicked me out of the house. Nick's mother thought she was providing me with refuge from a homeless shelter. I hadn't even met her yet, and I had already betrayed her kindness. The entire time with Nick's family, over the course of about 2 days, we stayed upstairs in Nick's room. His mom, stepdad, and 8-year-old brother didn't bother us much. Nick didn't drive, so we walked to the gas station for drinks and snacks.
And cigarettes. Let's not forget that, Gypsy, because we saw those in the room. Packs of cigarettes, because you smoked.
But other than that, he wanted me naked in his room the entire time. Being naked and in bed were his orders, and as his submissive, I obliged. He didn't want to have sex with me or anything.
Well, that's a lie, because in the interrogation, what did Nick's little brother say? What did Nick's stepdad say? He had to talk to Nick and tell him you guys needed to be quiet because his little brother could hear you, and they were screaming like rabbits. Again, why would he make that up? Gypsy? How about you, Gyps babes? How about y'all? Y'all seem to have lived it for her and speak for her. And again, I just can't.
He just demanded that when I was in his presence, I be naked. After the first night, I looked around his room and was disgusted by dirty clothes, wrappers, and moldy food. He hoarded like my mom had, except she didn't have old food lying around.
Well, gosh, don't that sound like what she said about Dan when she went there to his house, that it was gross and she risked everything with her mother for this? She said it about Ryan. Said it about her mom. And you know what? Even Ken. She even tried to insinuate it with Ken, remember? Throwing away all the empty, saying he had empty shampoo bottles, just trying to get the hairbrush out. But again, she does it with everybody. She doesn't, I don't know if she even realizes it, or she just doesn't care. I don't know.
I tried to ignore the crusty sheets and the sweat-stained comforter. When I asked him to use his shower, I remember thinking I hadn't seen him shower since the moment he arrived at my mother's house.
Girl, don't even, because you were still wearing the same shirt that you wore to the hotel that had your mama's blood on it. Let's not forget what Dan's friend said. The hygiene. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Stephanie said they hadn't showered either. So, just saying.
Not once in the hotel, and not once when we got to his home. Observing more of his lifestyle, I began to question how long I could live there. It was the first time I had any foresight. How would we live? Would I get a job? What would I do day after day? Without
Did you just hear her? This was the first time she had any foresight, and oh my God, what are we going to do? Will I get a job? How are we going to get money? What are we going to do? When I just showed you her talking to him about they had to get a job, they weren't going to get help, they needed money. This isn't like, oh my God, what are we going to do moment. It's so easy to prove her wrong.
an anchor or a compass, I wanted my mother. And then I washed that thought right away with a Xanax and half an Oxy.
Okay, so like Millennial said in the phone calls, it's different. She tells her dad she just wants to live every day. She wish she could take Xanax there. I'm sure you would in jail. Anybody would. But again, because I guess they did a drug test, a panel to see what all medicine she was on too, and what was in her system, what wasn't. Nothing was in your system, Gypsy. You did all that for the thrill of it. You were high off of your crime.
Rationing them now. While Nick and I quarantined in his room, my mind wandered. We didn't have a plan for the aftermath. What if nobody found her body? What if the police never wrote anything in the notepad and she'd just decomposed, or worse, our hungry cats feasted on her? Frantic, it became urgent for me to figure out a way to get someone to go over to the house, to find her and to bury her like she said she had wanted once she passed. "Don't you dare cremate me," she'd say. "You stick me in the ground. I get enough hot flashes as it is." I logged into mine and Dee Dee's joint Facebook account and changed the status to, "That bitch is dead." It was the complete opposite logic of removing the pictures of myself from the wall.
But she's lying here. And I've seen this, and I was thinking that too. She didn't remove any photos of her. She removed all of Dee Dee's. Not hers, Dee Dee's. The only one that was left was that collage in her bedroom. But in the house, if you look at the videos and the crime scene photos, Gypsy left her photos. She removed Dee Dee's. Why? And why is she lying about this? Because she was coming back home. She thought this was going to work. You know? Yeah. I'm so glad Millennial brought that up.
Now, instead of wiping clean my existence, I hope to lure people in because they knew of my existence and that I'd never post such a thing. Almost immediately, people thought we were hacked and messaged us asking if everything was okay. One person even wondered if we were watching a movie. Worried that nobody was concerned enough, I elaborated, posting,
That sounds just like Gypsy. And she wasn't trying to get attention to find her mother. She was getting attention to find her. She wanted out. Not only did she do that for them to come find her, she was looking up apartments in Springfield. Guess what? She would go home and have a car, a place to stay. I don't think she would stay in the pink house maybe, but guess what? She was looking for apartments in Springfield there with Nick. And Millennial kept seeing that on that day of the arrest, or the day she did this, the 14th maybe. Yeah. She kept looking up, oh my gosh, my train of thought. Well, she looked up the apartments and she kept logging into a bunch of different accounts. And it was almost to me like Millennial that, you know how she said in Kel Lowry's podcast that she would just switch tabs whenever she was looking at something so her mommy wouldn't see it? That's what she was doing with Nick, I think. Looking up on one tab, apartments, and then going to Facebook and clicking over to that tab whenever he came by. Because I didn't realize, she says in the book that she took her laptop to Nick's. I did not know that. But the other laptop there was hers. Yeah. And she was looking at this and doing this on her laptop. But I think that's what she was doing. She was looking up places to stay, some other interesting things, but I think she was going back and forth. And I think, in my opinion, making new Facebook accounts that she was going to use when she went home. I do. Absolutely. Because she was deleting and blocking people on the other accounts. She was getting rid of it all. But that's just my opinion, Millennial. You can let me know what you think. But I think that's what she was doing, because she absolutely was looking up apartments there in Springfield. Why? If you were so happy with your hero, which now she's saying she's not.
The police were called, and the search for me began. Unbeknownst to me, the media went wild with the story. Our neighbor Aaliyah.
That's a lie, because she also checked. She was checking Dan Glywell's account, David Blanchard's, even the local newspaper. She knew what was going on. She was reading about her being gone, and people had already assumed she was kidnapped. Just let that sink in.
Knew about my secret boyfriend and Facebook page. After I had a rare moment with her alone and confided in her, trying to connect with a girl my age on subject matter I guessed was relatable. Boys. She was so worried. Another one of my betrayals that still haunts me. Aaliyah was kind and generous and told detectives about my online boyfriend. It didn't take long for the police to trace
Aaliyah that she spoke to in messages. She didn't meet up with her. And let's not forget, she said, oh, I didn't have any friends, but then tells Nick and in the text, she has hundreds of friends, too many to count. But she never had friends, y'all. Okay, whatever. And she's a local celebrity.
my laptop's IP address to Nick's home. On June 15th, 2015, 5 days after the murder, armored police vehicles and what looked like a SWAT team surrounded Nick's family's house, treating the situation as a kidnapping. I can't imagine the fear and confusion that came over Nick's family, especially his little brother, as the police removed them from their own home. Then over the loudspeaker, we heard, "Nick, go to John. Come out with your hands above your head." I looked at Nick. He looked at me. We were both naked. Robotically, quietly, we got dressed. Hearing a forceful voice call out Nick's name, like he was a known fugitive, was surreal, dreamlike. I didn't think yet that I was in trouble, but I also didn't know what our next move would be.
She absolutely knew. She absolutely knew, and she didn't think she was in trouble. She didn't think she was in trouble the entire time. Up until they closed that door at the very end and said, "You're being charged with murder." She did not think she was in trouble. Sir, I need a lawyer, sir. She thought she was going home. You did, Gyps.
"Come here," Nick said, pointing to where he was standing in front of his closet. We both got into the closet, locked the door, and sat. "What are we going to do?" I asked Nick, my only guiding light. "We just stick to the story. Your mom kicked you out, you were on the streets, and I came to get you to live with us. We stick to that story."
I think she told him that, in my opinion. Remember, he hid in the closet watching his mom get abused. Watching his mom get hurt through DV, he would hide in the closet. And I think she told him, it's okay, just like she did in the hotel when he was crying and she was comforting him. It wasn't your fault, it was mine. Just saying.
Story, no matter what. Realizing we were about to be separated, I began to tremble. The gravity of losing him pulled on my heart. "Okay," I answered. "Stick to the story. But I promise, I'm going to get you the best lawyer money can buy with the $4,000.
That right there. She thinks she is walking home because guess what? In her delusional mind, she read that there was no accessory to MURDER, and she thought she wouldn't get in trouble and she can lie her way out of it because she was used to that. Everybody believed her. She was used to it. No, you were wrong. You got lucky that Mike Stanfield was so shady and dirty. I mean, hey, a lawyer's supposed to do their job within the boundaries of the law and not lie. And he was a liar like you. That's why you liked him so much. That's why you wanted to. Let's get it on.
We sealed our pact with a kiss. Nick let me go down the stairs to the front door first. I remember being at the landing before taking my first step and seeing all the police in their military gear, like you would see on the news about troops in Afghanistan. I was about to descend into a sea of bulletproof vests and helmets and guns. The guns had lasers on them. The lasers were pointed at me. Hold your fire! Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Several voices collided. They hadn't expected me to come down first. Keep your hands where we can see them. Instinctively, I put my arms up like a goalpost. I'm okay. I'm okay.
I'm okay. I'm here. I'm okay.
I kept saying, I'm unarmed. I'm coming down. The instant I appeared at the front door, a hand yanked me, like a cane yanks a bad act off stage. I was swooped away by my shoulders, carried off as if my kidnapper was at my heels. They cuffed me.
Do you hear her? As if the kidnapper was at her heels. She played that role up good. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. Are you married? You're holding me. I love you. She was probably in love with that guy. Just like that, because he picked her up and held her.
Me behind my back and sat me on the hood of a police car, firing off question after question. What's your name? How old are you? What's your social security number? I told them I was Gypsy Rose Blanchard, with an E at the end.
She's Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
But other than that, he wanted me naked in his room the entire time. Being naked and in bed were his orders, and as his
Oh, please, I must have hit something.
shy of 24, the same age my mother was when she had me. I had no clue about my social security number. The questions continued. Does he have any weapons? Any bombs? Has he hurt you? I told them he didn't, waiting for Nick's silhouette to appear in the doorframe.
Well, of course. I mean, you know, he was in love with her. She's going to play the kidnapping role, but I didn't know he was going to do that. He told me I had to come with him. This is where she gets all the, I was forced to write that. I was forced to do the videos. I was scripted. When really it was her. All he did was ask her questions. Where is his videos, Gypsy? He didn't delete anything. He kept every memory of y'all. But you, Lord, you blocked, deleted, you dirty deleted everything.
Then I saw several police officers holding on to him and body slamming him onto the concrete where they cuffed him. And I remember him hollering, "Hey, you're hurting me!"
Do you hear how it's just, hey, you're hurting me? Yeah, Gypsy, because you know what? He sat in an interrogation room for 13 hours, handcuffed to a table and chair, or a chair, I can't remember. You got to go lay down on a sofa in it was for victims, or especially young victims, that had little fishies and stuffed bears, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying not to say etc. And you took naps. And you sat and flirted with the guard. And I'm stopping right here. I just wanted to point what she said about the searches. I find that not shocking. We all thought she was never going to stay with Nick. Look how she talks about him. If he's saving you from your ABUSC, he should be your hero. You sure don't let up on her being a monster, so he should be your hero. But everybody's the villain in your book, Gypsy. You're the only hero, survivor, or victim in your story. And that's the truth. So, yeah, it is one glove. That is the knife. Again, I mentioned that Trixie Lane did a FOIA request for the DNA, and I can't wait. I cannot wait. Yeah, my makeup and hair looks so pretty today. I didn't get home till 7. I drove without getting out of my car just to go get him and picked up. It was so crowded though. I left at 2:30. We didn't get home till 7. So this video is definitely not going to be up before midnight. But let me show you something really quick. I wanted to bring those things up because I think it is important to show she wasn't leaving with Nick. It never was the plan. I'm so glad Millennial is going over the book too, because there is a lot in the book. A lot that she fibs on herself. She tells on herself. Oh, yeah, last night I could not find this. Snark found it. Thank y'all. But here she is. I don't know. Instagram pays well, though. It's under bonuses. I make roughly $1,000 on Instagram a month. I don't feel like it would be in the best interest of any long-standing social media to take away the monetization of content creators. But if you look at history, MySpace faded out Facebook. Still faded out. Facebook still exists because Facebook took over MySpace and bought. Never mind, just forget it. But there are fewer users, and now we are seeing people deleting TikTok after this new transfer of ownership. So it pegs the question, which app and platform is going to be the new trend? Because that's what she cares about. Yeah. So here's the post we're all talking about, and I'm looking at this rabbit. I don't know. It looks just like her rabbit, except it's like rainbow dyed. Could she have done it? Absolutely. Absolutely. She could have just did little dyes all over it, you know? Absolutely. Because if you look right here at it's white. I need to look at the rabbit and see what color eyes it had. Did it have black eyes though? Let me look. Let me check. Yeah, it did. It had dark eyes and a pink nose. What are the odds that she would even find the rabbit with whatever? I'm not even going to get into it, but it absolutely does look like that rabbit, just tie-dyed. Or colors just splashed along it. And she easily could have done that. Again, she's trolling us. She is trolling us, baby. No. She's trolling us for sure. Absolutely. Yes. Oh, dang it. I don't know if I showed you guys this. I don't even know. Like I said, that whole church would have went. But yeah, she posted 2014 about the Olay Foundation. Started a GoFundMe in April 2000, August 2014, something like that. She started the GoFundMe a year before, knowing she was going to take Dee Dee out. She needed that nest egg, y'all. But it wasn't for her and Nick. It was for her. And remember, look at that. Dee Dee always made sure she had everything she wanted. Yeah, you were so secluded, Gypsy. How do you sleep at night? That money went for her. She was never. I'll tell you what she wanted. She wanted to sow her wild oats, like she said when she got out of prison. That's it. But she's too obsessed with marriage and a baby. She don't care about the actual marriage, the commitment and the actual meaning. It's just doing it. I want the wedding. It's the wedding. The baby. I want to obsessing over being a mom. In her lives, you don't hear anything from the baby hardly. Nothing. She doesn't talk to her, play with her, nothing. But when Ken's unalive, the baby's just cooing away, talking. She's screaming over the baby because God forbid Aurora get more attention than her. Yeah, you lived a very secluded Locked away. Childhood gypsy. Yep. She absolutely. Just like she told the cops she was 19 when she got there in the interrogation. She lies. She was 24, 2 weeks from turning 24, and she's trying to get any way possible, anything to make it seem like, well, I'm a victim and I'm young. And she's trying to use her illness, her age, everything to get off of this crime. Alrighty, y'all, that's it. That's all I got for tonight. Look, I thought you didn't do Halloween or Christmas. All right, you guys. God, poor Dee Dee, bless her heart. Thank you to one second. I gotta say thank you to the supers, to Sophia R6996. Thank you so much. Thank you, Snack Pants. And we are going to talk about 90 Day Fiancé in a video tomorrow. I'll continue this, of course, but we can do a 90 Day Fiancé video. I'm into those. And Miss Ruby, I'm making sure. Yes, I am. I've said your name wrong, so I always feel I double, triple check now. Ruby Travis, thank you. Thank you, ma'am, for your super chat. Or no, those are just super thanks. Super sticker. Supers. And of course, R4 is 304. Thank you. You guys are awesome. I love you guys. Thank you. Nope, I got one more. Bees or B Smith 6464. I hope I'm not saying that wrong. Or Bees Myth. I don't know. You can let me know in the comments, bees. All right, you guys. Thank you guys so much for your supers. Thank you for your hypes, your likes. You guys are like, hype first. I love you guys. I really do, and I love talking to you. You guys correct me, and I love it when you correct. Oh. I did say I heard it with my own mouth. I mean, I heard it with my own ear. You guys, when it's like 2 in the morning, you just... I don't know. I heard it with my own mouth, y'all, okay? All right, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you guys for everything. Good night.